In politics, you're either on message or you are losing. Let's get to it. Welcome to the one-year anniversary of On Message, our weekly look at where the battle lines are drawn and who is winning the war of words. Thanks for being along for the ride so far. This week, On the Dotted Line. As we flip the calendar over from 2021 to 2022, we also moved into a midterm election year, and Utah's most high-profile race will undoubtedly be Senator Mike Lee versus the field. Now, incumbents always have a massive advantage in any race, but the three main challengers bring some element of intrigue to this one. Will former state legislator Becky Edwards or former Herbert Deputy Chief of Staff Ali Isom be able to give Lee a run for his money in a primary, or will they split any anti-Lee vote? And if Lee does win the Republican nomination, how does he match up with independent Evan McMullin in a general? We'll watch and see how that unfolds over the next several months. For now, the business at hand is getting on that primary ballot. And for Isom, Edwards, and Lee, that means gathering 28,000 signatures each from across the state over the next couple of months. It's a daunting task because each signature must come from a registered Republican, and each of those can sign for only one candidate. Now, from a communication standpoint, I'm relieved to see that all three candidates are collecting signatures. It saves us all from the pandering that comes when one candidate decides to go the convention-only route and tries to win votes by reminding the delegates that his or her fate is solely in their hands. Collecting signatures is the right thing to do, and as Lee's 2016 campaign manager put it, not collecting signatures would amount to, quote, political malpractice. Now, having gone through two gubernatorial elections and gathered signatures in each, I have some strong feelings about the process. First, having an alternate path to the ballot through signatures is one of the best, if not the best, changes to Utah politics in decades. There are times when we need to delegate our votes. I need a representative in D.C. to look at all that legislation because I don't have time. But deciding who is on a primary ballot, that's not one of those situations. It takes a special kind of dedication to attend your caucus meeting on a cold winter night and run as a delegate, which means forfeiting the most beautiful spring Saturday of every year just a couple of months later. My hat's off to those who are willing to do it, but that group doesn't usually have the same political agenda that aligns with the average Utah Republican voter, and that's a problem. Second, the threshold is too dang high. Gathering 28,000 signatures takes real effort and usually money. But you can't count on 28,000 signatures being sufficient because some people will sign multiple petitions, even if you tell them not to. Some will not actually qualify because they think they're members of the party, but they aren't actually registered. And some will sign a signature that doesn't match the signature on file. So you have to shoot for at least, say, 32,000 signatures just to be safe, especially if you end up in kind of a close situation. Your opponents may challenge enough of your signatures that would have you fall just short of the total you need. Look, when candidates ask for a signature, they really are only asking a voter if they deem them legitimate enough that they'd like to hear more from that candidate. A signature is not a vote. Unfortunately, the current law treats it like one. The point is to help more legitimate candidates get in the mix, so the number of required signatures should be lower, and you should be able to sign multiple petitions. That would make life easier for the state elections office and for all the candidates. In fact, I'll take it a step further and say that one thing we should have learned from the pandemic is that doing things remotely is appreciated and sometimes becomes very necessary. Electronic signatures should be acceptable. It's 2022, for heaven's sakes. If people could sign a petition online, sign multiple petitions, and a more reasonable number of signatures was required overall, candidates could spend more time and resources talking about where they stand on the issues, and we'd all be better off. That's it for this week. I'd love to hear what you think. Have your say in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel on YouTube. You can also reach out to me via the social media platform of your choice. As always, you can find more on-message videos, in-depth Utah political stories and analysis, plus podcasts and more at utahpoliticalunderground.com.